Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my friends from around the world. Wow, we have a lot of you guys out today from everywhere, all over Europe, South America. I see what North America I see. Wow, well, welcome. And I hope you guys are all staying safe in these times. It's crazy out there, isn't it? Well, today we have something special. We have actually a very successful entrepreneur who is really in many different industries before. He has been successful in so many different industries, from real estate to retail to he's even been an auctioneer. And about 10 years ago, him and a few friends of his started a project which became $1 billion business today. And he is passionate. He's passionate about really about sharing what he has learned. And not only that, but he's also helped thousands of people around the world. And today, this gentleman is going to talk about the key mechanics that lead to success. Isn't that what everybody wants? What does it take, right? So I want to introduce my really good friend who was a successful entrepreneur, Mr. Samson Li.
Hello, Voss. How are you today?
Samson, I'm really well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm enjoying the finally sunny California weather. I
I
hope you are
know.
too.
Yeah, we walked out front for a little bit and just absorbed that sun. I need to work on my tan a little bit, right?
Well, vitamin D is always good for the immune system, yeah?
It really is. And Samson, today I'm really excited. We have a lot of people from all over the world, and put up some questions that you have during the presentation. At the end, Samson's going to come and answer those questions. But I'm really excited to hear about these key mechanics that lead to success. So take it away, Samson.
Thank you very much, Voss. Thank you. Hello, everybody around the world. Very excited to be here today. The last 2 months so far in the US, we've been dealing with what's happening with the crisis around the world, and as many of you from around the world. And no, we've been very aggressively building online, literally a more robust online business using Zoom and Facebook and other technology. So it's come to a point where, we've done many trainings at the beginning about the skills and what to look at. And today I want to kind of put that all in context and how to use it, how to implement it. So today, for maybe the first 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I'll be talking about that. So if you have a pen and a paper, highly encourage all of you to take some notes. But my purpose today is not only to give out information, because I believe, to create your own success, what you need to do is to have breakthroughs, personal breakthroughs, self-development. The more you develop yourself, the more you understand, the more open your mind is, the more it expands, and the more you can apply it to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, okay? So today, my main purpose is actually to get you to think, okay? Now, what happened is that, as we listen, we process the information. So most of us, what we do is we process the information and we start thinking about, thoughts come to our head, we start thinking about what Samson's saying today, okay? But instead, what I'm gonna try to do is to get around your thinking mind, all right? Because the real change is not in what you think consciously. The real change is actually in your subconscious. Okay, so we are, what happened is that we learn a particular pattern that lasts throughout our lives from the age 0 to about 7 to 8 years old. Okay, and that because our brainwaves are slower when we're young, so we are absorbing things, we are learning, and then what we observe, we remember subconsciously, and that becomes a pattern and that pattern consists of events, thoughts, emotions, and habits. So that's formed before the age of 7 and 8. And we have that throughout our lives. Now, at those times, we usually learn from, of course, our parents and our friends, our environment, the people that are around us. And yeah, that's fine when we're young, but some of those patterns might not serve us when we grow up, when we are older, because the situation, the environment is different. So first, I just want you to be aware of that, and we're going to work on how to get around that and to really truly learn. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and share with you some ideas today about the keys and mechanics that leads to success. Now, I understand many of you on this webcast today, you have been involved in our platform for many months, if not years, and you've heard many trainings and sharings by leaders and other people who are successful. Today, what I want to do is to maybe, like I said, provoke your thinking and let your thinking rest and hopefully get around that programming that we all have, okay? So today, the focus is keys and success that leads to, keys and mechanics that leads to success, okay? So let me put it together. You've seen many things in our business and platform, maybe in life, but I think you all agree with me that, if we do something, we have to have, some elements. And if we're going to work toward putting our effort into whatever we do in whatever circumstances, we need to have the mindset, and also we need to have the skill set. And we also need a platform, a vehicle that we can get in to use it to create our own success toward the direction that we want to go. That's the life of an entrepreneur, okay? It doesn't matter what industry, what business you're in. All these things are very important. So I want to, just talk about some ideas, and maybe you can have some clarity through the process, through maybe the next half an hour, okay, 30 minutes. So it is about, unlocking your limiting beliefs. Your mindset, like it comes from, like I said, a lot of it comes from when we're from 0 to 78 years old. A majority of it, can you imagine? And yeah, as we go through school, our brains, they speed up from learning. Our logic comes out. Our left side of the brain starts really categorizing, organizing the information that we learn, and we start to think that, what, we know a lot, and maybe we're good at learning, and maybe we are smart, and we have a lot of potential. That's, of course, most what we think. But maybe by the time we get to high school or college, or after graduate college, we think we're so smart. But unfortunately, that is just knowledge. And in school, I'm not against school at all. I think it's important. It has its functions. But does it serve us in the long run of creating the life that we want? Well, that's really up to the individual and what each of you want out there. But this time, when maybe from 0 to early 20s, we learn how to learn. Okay, we learn how to learn, and we have some maybe knowledge that's specific that we learn from school or not. Okay, so but it's all this learning, it builds our self-esteem, it builds our emotional self, our self-view, and also the view of the world. But at the end of the day, we don't know what we don't know. Look, if we want to be where we want to be, the first question is, how come we're not there yet? Okay, how come we're not there yet? Now, in our current platform, I started in the business 10 and a half years ago. And at the time I was 40 years old. Now you know how old I am. And as I look back, when I was 40 years old, I already, like Voss has introduced me, I already was in the real estate industry, was in the retail industry, as an auctioneer, and all these businesses I was the boss. I was the one. Of course, I work hard. Success, you have to work hard. But I did not do well in those businesses, not as well as I thought I would. So at the time, I just didn't know any better or any more. I did not have the knowledge or experience to grow in those industries. And there's many reasons. And of course, the economics are up and down. Like many people, we are affected, just as like now. I mean, we are literally in a global economic crisis. It's never been this way before, okay? So I want to draw the attention that we don't know what we don't know, all right? As I maybe spend a little bit of time every day listening to the news to get some information. Okay, I try to get the news and not to get opinions, but information. I just want to be updated what's happening, making no judgment, but rather keep an open mind. Because moving forward, we just don't know what's going to happen in the unknown. And like now, the current situation, how are we going to reopen the economy? That is a big question, and how fast or how big it's going to be. Nobody knows. We can only work at it step by step by step. We have a plan, and we hope the plan will work. We have some of the smartest people working it through their lifelong experiences in their expertise. They know a lot, but they have never encountered what we've encountered today globally. So that brings to the point, do we believe that we'll be okay? Do we believe that, life will get back to normal? Or, well, that takes hope and faith. Getting back to normal or not, we don't know. So we just don't know what we don't know, okay? You just gotta keep an open mind. That's how we're gonna overcome our limiting beliefs. So you gotta keep an open mind and be open without attachments. Now, we all come from different backgrounds and different cultures. And when we learn, we can always say, yeah, we have an open mind. But the question is, do you really have an open mind, right? If, I have a good friend. Many of you don't know him. He's a good friend of mine. We have the same kind of energy. This gentleman, he lives in Arizona. And he was an FBI agent before. He's retired. He was 25 years in the FBI. And the stories that he tells me are sometimes almost unbelievable. But he has no reason otherwise to tell me otherwise. But he's been involved in a lot of investigations like 9/11. He's been investigating in the, what led up to it, what happened before and after it. He investigated many, many things in his 25 years career. And as a matter of fact, I think many of you know there used to be a show called X-Files, right? The X-Files about UFOs, aliens, cover-ups, conspiracy theories, and all that. Well, the first season of X-Files was based on his stories, on his investigation. Somebody took his report, a notebook, and made a TV series out of it. So the first season of X-Files was loosely based on his investigations. So you understand what I'm saying when maybe when I say that, maybe some of the stories he tells me, it's unbelievable because it was outside of my own beliefs of what's real or not. So that's what I've talked about, limiting beliefs, okay? So, but the best way is you really want to keep an open mind is to always be open without attachments to any of your previous beliefs. And so as I was talking with John D'Souza, that's his name, you look him up, great guy, amazing energy, love him and his wife. When they talk about that not everybody is cut out to be an investigator. Even most quote unquote investigators, they're only researchers or facts gatherers. And because when they come to, there's a saying that he says, you know what, facts, the FBI is very famous, right? On the TV show saying, just the facts, man, just the facts, man, just give me the facts, right? But that's what they are. Most law enforcement, they are fact gatherers. They're not investigators. Investigators will come to a conclusion. And there's different types of investigators. And how does it relate to limiting beliefs? Well, this is the reason, because you can gather the facts, and what conclusion you come to is based on your beliefs or the beliefs of other people. The true investigators are willing to be so open. Their set of beliefs are so wide open, so open-minded. They will literally follow till the very end and come to the conclusion where the facts lead to, versus coming to a certain point and making a decision. Like, nowadays there's a lot of stories on the news about what's happening. Well, true or not, who are you going to believe? Fake news or not fake news? Fact checkers even, all biased. Okay, but just gather and try to overcome it. Part of having the right mindset is empowering yourself, be intentional, and that's where it leads to. The question is, how are you going to determine? How are you going to think? How much you're going to be open? It depends on how you operate. One of the concepts that came very clearly to me that influences a majority of how we make decisions, what we think, what kind of beliefs we have, is literally based on love versus fear. There's a very famous psychologist, and some of you have heard my my speech before, my training before, David R. Hawkins, and he wrote a book called Power versus Force. Well, when we're in fear, we're focused on a particular thing. For example, like if we were a caveman and there's a saber-toothed tiger outside a cave and we are scared, we're in fear, we need to stay alive, it's a matter of survival. Against a saber-toothed tiger, we need to protect ourselves, our family, and our psychology, our brain, our reptilian brain, the primitive brain, automatically switches, because we're in fear, switches to fight or flight. And we are focused on that one single thing that is putting us in fear. Okay, now, of course, back then, the caveman, maybe the saber-toothed tiger hang around, we hide, and it come and then it leaves, okay, after a period of time. And then we're out of fear, okay? Now, when we're in fear, physically, there are different type of hormone going through your body, getting you ready to either fight or run away, okay? So that's when we're in stress, right? Stress hormone, cortisol. That's what happens, and your body is programmed. We are in constant stress, okay? The body gathers all the resources just to fight or flight. Now, in modern days, we don't run into saber-toothed tigers anymore, and it's rare that we are in danger, okay? But of course, be safe out there. But what happened is that in current today's society, people are stressed. They are stressed all the time. The demand from the kids, from the career, from society, from family, it's every day. People are stressed. We are not made to operate like that. So what happened to our mindset is, instead of looking at the big picture, we focus. We're in fear all the time. We are just focusing on any particular reason or person or something that's environment, climate change, President Trump, the virus or whatever. Okay, not being non-political here, just pointing out. Question is, are you being triggered? Okay, trigger means triggering your programming to automatically react in fear to the thoughts, dimension of things out there. I see people doing a lot of that on social media today. I have friends outside the US, they have no idea how the US operates in terms of politics or governmental structure or how things work or the healthcare system, and they're listening to all this news that has a narrative that has no relation to the system in the US. So I'm not for one or the other, but it's very clear to me that a lot of my friends, they're getting triggered whenever a name comes up, wherever somebody else says, and it's not even fact, just opinion, or where they twist the facts to suit their narrative, that my friends go into an automatic reaction. That's being programmed. I guess that's what they call TV programming, because they're programming you. Okay. There's a whole another story to that. You do your own research. Now, going back to love. Okay. So love empowers you, according to David R. Hawkins. It gives you a different, and you exist on a different reality, a different energetic state when you operate out of love. Okay. Maybe heart-based, as opposed to from your head, instead from your heart. We're talking about maybe gut reactions, maybe things that matter because of love. And we lost a lot of that because of the stress that we are in. We operate in our head rather than our heart. And why I say this, because through love, everything is intentional. Right? Fear, it's out of programming. Remember the subconsciousness I talked about earlier? Yeah, just be aware of that. But love is intentional. When you see today, I mean, the value shifting dramatically because of what's happening around the world. Let's say we're driving down the street and you see this person and they're really in need. And of course, everybody's already put in quote unquote fear because that invisible enemy that's floating in the air that we can never see, it's out there, not out there. Who knows, right? But if we see a person that's in need on the street, many of you, through your gut, through the love now, more than ever, of loving another human being, where you realize maybe the other people are vulnerable, you automatically, many of you would go from your gut, from your heart, and intentionally stop your car, maybe take some money out, and maybe give them a little bit of money to help them out, or maybe give them more than that. See, that's power. That's courage. That's inspiration that comes to you. And that creates a different reality. Because, for example, psychologists say a good 90+% of the thoughts we have today, we had yesterday. So it's a pattern and programming that we've accumulated. Okay. So to get out of that, to operate in a different dimension, a different way, where it comes from power, from love, you can operate that way on a daily basis if you are aware of it. So empower yourself and be intentional. I guess that's a way, that's a good way to think about that. Now, so with that, though, as you look at what's out there in life, in not only in life, but maybe in your business or when you interact with other people, you're able to discern, to see, maybe truly what is happening. Because again, remember, if you operate in fear, you just focus on maybe the only thing that has triggered your programming, that puts you in fear, right? When you're in fear, whatever mindset you're at, whatever at that moment, all the same chemical comes out again in your body. So if you're in fear, automatically all the cortisol comes up through your body, and you're in fear, you're in that state of mind for a good 4 to 5 or 6 hours, as long as that hormone stays in your body. That's prevalent all through your body. As opposed to in love, a different kind of hormone comes up. Okay, so through that, through love, if you base your priorities, be intentional through your self-love or love for other people, you start to make a different kind of decisions, and you will have a different kind of perspective. And that's why I'm talking about discernment, because the right mindset, you need that to move forward, to be successful. And a lot of that can be based on principles or values. Okay, that's from maybe I think most of us recognize what is good and evil. What is love and fear? What is, like, for example, I have Chinese background, so most people know Chinese principles through Confucius, okay, or Lao Tzu through the art of war, if you're in business, for example. Okay, so these principles have been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and based on many things, wisdom, I guess human wisdom that's accumulated. So we all know what those principles are, so you can identify those within yourself. What are your principles? What creates, if you say you want to operate integrity, what makes up your integrity? What are the words that come to mind when you write the integrity at the top of the page? and write down the words that describe your integrity below. What makes it up, okay? Operate in the present because change, the intentionality of your being, it only operates in the present. You know, because the past you cannot do anything about, and the future, really, no one knows except maybe a higher power. So if you operate in the present with intention, you will move toward the path that you want to move toward. So it's very important, the mindset, because you need that mindset to operate the skill set on the platform to create success. So execution is very important. So at the beginning, you gotta have a vision that's based on your intentions. That is very important, okay? So what I mean is, before you can have a vision, it does take a lot of time, a lot of, you know, self-awareness or inspiration to have a vision, okay? So again, no, if you go from fear, you're not gonna get any inspiration because you're focused on the cause of your fear. Rather than if you operate in love, the creativity will come to you. The power will come to you. The resourcefulness will come to you. Why you do what you do. We talk about the why in our business a lot. And so that's important because that's about your intentions. Your intentions will set your why. So your vision is based on your intentions, what you want to do, okay? Why you want to do it. And through that, you will find your mission and purpose, not only in business, but in life. Now, for me, some of what I've seen around the world are some of the most successful people. They know what they're doing. They don't know what they want. Now, if you get passionate, you're passionate about it, and passionate is not about the company, it's not about the product, it's not about the money even. Passionate is beyond that. It's almost it's a spiritual aspect of you. It's not emotional. It's a spiritual aspect that emits emotional responses that manifest in your physical being. So when you have that passion, it's not moving towards success. It's not a destination anymore. It's rather a way of life, and you will live your purpose and what you're happy doing every day, what you're excited to be doing every day. Find that so you can feed, you know, your daily energy, emotions in putting the actions to work. So through that, set your goals. You know, in your mind, you gotta set the goals, realistic goals, okay? And don't worry, whatever that means to you, quote unquote, realistic, right? I mean, it's very common in Chinese background. You know, we always say, oh, you know, you gotta put your foot on the ground, be grounded, and be realistic. Now, but is success realistic? I don't know. It depends on your beliefs. So, but you know what? Whatever there's out there in the world, for example, let's say we talk about electric cars or mobile phones. Those things did not exist maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago, or so prevalent in society around the world, right? So, or 20 years ago, 30 years ago, all those were dreamed by somebody, okay? The clothes that we wear, somebody was inspired to create it. They thought about it. It's not a matter of thought, but it came to them maybe out of the ether, out of thin air, that they got the idea, oh, I want this jacket to look like this. I want this shirt to look like this. It's through inspiration that they create something, setting a goal, and you know, maybe putting it on paper, see? And making it a reality, manifest it, put the action behind it. So the mindset, you got to set the goals though. If you don't set goals, you're not going to get anywhere. For example, in our business, we have promotions every month. Did you set your goal daily to achieve those promotions? It's very important, yeah? So the mindset is very important. That's the execution of the mindset. But now let's talk about the skill set, all right? You have the mindset. You need to have the right mindset. And when you operate the right set of skills, the skill sets in a particular platform, you will get the result, okay? So the skill set is very important. And I want all of you to be aware of this, because look, because without the skill set, you won't be successful, right? So first you got to identify the skill sets you need to manifest your vision, right? So some people, it doesn't matter our platform or any other industry or business, it requires different set of skill sets. A lot of people, they want to come into Jeunesse or a platform and they want to go up the level to be a diamond. My question is, if that's really what you want, and if you say it with integrity, that means your own integrity. Don't lie to yourself. Be real, be true to yourself. Whatever you think or say, make it happen. Put the commitment behind it, put the work behind it, right? Well, if you set that goal, are you doing the business with that commitment? Are you willing to learn the skill sets, to learn how to talk in front of people, to stand in front of people, to put the effort in, to overcome all the negativity that you might have from your limiting beliefs and then the beliefs of other people? Are you willing to go through the process? Are you willing to overcome whatever comes your way? Well, and what skills you need to do that? Learn the skills. Because a lot of that is about getting educated. So many times you need to unlearn and relearn what is necessary to create success. Because over years, over time, we've accumulated habits and mindset and physical habits and also mindset that we need to really drop it because it doesn't serve us moving forward. It doesn't serve us in reaching our goals or our vision, okay? I was very fortunate when I look back, even though I did not do well in my real estate business or retail business or auction business, didn't do well as I hope I would, or even in my furniture business, I lost a lot of money. Well, whatever I did, it wasn't enough. Yeah, I worked hard, but I was not consistent enough. I worked hard and I had 3 stores, looked like a big boss, but I was not passionate about it, especially when the economy was down and all this negativity, start pouring in. There seemed to be no end. I don't know how to get out. It's in a straitjacket. So look, imagine me during that time. I thought what I was doing when the economy is good, I was making money. I thought I developed, strategy and system and habits that had helped me make money. But when the economy was down, I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't have the skill sets to turn my business around. And I did not know even where to get those skill sets. We don't know what we don't know. So you got to unlearn to relearn. And it's the easiest way to learn from people who have done it, right? And you know what? With anything, you got to get in the game. Okay. What I mean is, look, you got to take risks. You can lower the risk by understanding the game. You got to get in the game. You got to take action every day, practicing those skill sets. You got to know what the foundational skills are, how to peak in, like in our business, because we do marketing, how to pique interest, get people interested, find out what they need, and then invite them to a marketing event or show them some marketing material like video, podcasts, social media where they can see some showcase, Zoom, maybe live meeting and conventions when we get back to normal. Okay, invite and then learn how to present the business, how to showcase, how to do the marketing. What are the marketing things we need to learn? And then if the people have objection, well, how to overcome, how to answer them, how to be on their same side, how to interact with them, the person skills. Look, if you don't know anybody in the world, this is not the right business for you. We always joke, right? And look, you want to be, and this is when we present something, it's almost like a negotiation with people. We share, the good times and the bad times about life and what people need, what people are looking for, how we can get there. The foundational skills to do that. How to edify. What is that? What is edification? If you don't know what that is, write down. You better ask your sponsor or leader. And then how to promote the next event. Okay, so very foundational skills. Okay, and then you got to know what a pipeline is. You got to define and focus on the process. What I just mentioned: pique interest, invite, showcase, overcome objections and invite them to the next event, promote the next event. That's a pipeline. And you want to put people in that pipeline, all those 5 steps over and over and over again, focus on the process. We can set the goals. And the goals could be really far away, like a pie in the sky, right? Or maybe it's like the moon is so far away. Well, Les Brown said, you know what? You got to aim for the moon. Even if you miss, at least you'll land among the stars, So you got to define and focus on the process in this pipeline. Okay, so I'll just give you a visual, right? Like an assembly line. Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Consistently. Okay, and practicing using the foundational skill. And it is about practice through execution. I think many of you have heard me before. Look, doctors have a practice, lawyers have a practice, accountants have a practice. They're all practicing on you. Okay, so you need to go out and practice your skill set and mindset, okay? Practice, practice, practice. Be consistent and persistent, all right? The more you do, the more you practice, the more you learn. And the more you learn, the faster and the better you get, the better results you will get. Now, I always have to say, different people, because maybe what has happened in their life, they come to the business with different skills. So it's up and down, right? And in life, and then when they come here, many of those skills can translate into our business, but some skills for sure cannot, okay? And on skills, the belief systems. So the best way to get good at the skill set is find a coach or mentor, your sponsor or your team leader or your mentor. Feedback is the building block of learning. That's why we do homework in school, right? So when you do homework, you realize what you learned and what you didn't learn and what you understood or misunderstood. As when you do the work, you will find out, but you need that feedback. All right, that's one of the secrets. Okay, now let's talk about the platform. Now, if I was looking at the businesses out there, what's most important to me is it has to be systematic. Now, being an entrepreneur for more than 30 years, I've had a number of businesses, and I try to create the system. Like if you walk into a bank, you have maybe a person at the front door to greet you. Then you have a teller. Then you have different account executive, or maybe mortgage loans or bank manager. Everybody is, all those people are part of that system in the bank. And then on the corporate side, maybe the bank have people to do investments to get a rate of return so the bank can make money, to lend out loans, etc. So it's systematic. A good platform, a good business has to have a system that can operate with or without you. That's the key, number 1. Number 2, the growth potential. How big can it get? Okay, like me, when I first started in the retail business, in my furniture business, my mind, again, I didn't know anything much. I didn't know much about the furniture business. I thought it was just open the store, open the doors, spend money advertising, sell furniture, make money. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? Well, too naive, unfortunately. Because, I had to pay a lot of rent, expense. I never thought of, how can I lower all those? How can I save money? Every penny saved is a penny earned, okay? So, that's what you want to do. You want to see the growth potential. But at the time, I was thinking, maybe I could open one, managing well, have a system, let it run, open another one, open another one, open another one, open a whole chain of them. Well, I did not think it through enough, But the growth potential was limited. I didn't understand enough about the industry and the global economic impact that was happening that helped me make money or lose money. And that's why I did not do well in that business after 10 years. Okay, and the question is, whatever business you're in, is it maximizing technology and the business model? So you got to think about that clearly. I think a lot of it, if you spend time on a sheet of paper, put traditional business versus jeunesse, the two platforms. I mean, think about opening a store versus online business, online store. What is the difference? So when you see a difference, it builds that little, belief in that it can work. Well, the fact is it does work. It's not a matter of it can work. It's the factor is just you. So, and I always look at, I learned that the most important thing is not the investment, rather, is it going to be profitable? Okay. Now, those of you who've never had a business, if you have a job, the difference is this. If you have a job, you trade time for money, linear income. Maybe you get paid by the hour or the every 2 weeks or every month, or maybe you're in sales and you make money deal to deal to deal. Well, there's limit to how much money you can make because your time is limited, right? And your efforts are limited. You can never leverage you're building, you can never build your dream that way. You're actually helping somebody else, the owner of those business, build their dream, right? And I've learned that, I've learned from many people, there's a lot of misconception out there. Not many people get financially educated. They get financially proficient, but they can never get educated of how to get ahead financially, especially in school. If you look back, how many financial education classes that teaches you about your personal finances that you had in school, right? I don't know anybody that has that. Even people who study business, they're studying the skill. They're not studying personal financial management. So, well, I learned that through afterwards and through different people that, you know what, an asset is not a thing. And if you have to borrow money to buy the asset, like a car or a house, that's not an asset. The definition I love to use, I heard it from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, is that an asset produces cash flow, has money coming in. That's a real asset because you're making money from that. So I'm looking for a platform that can make money, that can build a cash flow. Lowering the risk, the less investment, the better. And I remember Kim Hui saying, if you're in a business that has a highly consumable service or product, you're in the right business. That's how you can make money. If you cater to the classes, you dine with the masses. If you cater to the masses, you dine with the classes. So you look for a platform that's profitable, like what we have. Now, to sum it up, it is important to talk about synergy because all these three things, talk about you got to use the mindset, the skill set, plus the platform in synergy to work together to create success. Okay, you need all that. You can have the best mindset, but if you don't have the skill or the platform, you got nothing. If you don't have the mindset and you have all the skills and you have a social platform, your success is still limited. I think all of you understand what I'm saying, right? You got to put all three together. Now, and you know what? It's you who make it work. It's about leadership empowers this formula. Okay, so whose leadership? What is leadership? That leadership is you. You take the priority to make it work for you. Okay, now we're all in the, our team, our friends from all the world. We decided to come together to participate, and we name our group Us Global System, right? USGS, Us Global System, and we are committed to helping each other grow, helping each other build a business. That is leadership, and then of course, leadership comes in all different forms, shape, and sizes, right? So, but coming together with people that are driven, that has a big heart to be open to operate this business in the open and transparency. That's how we can have more people empower this formula to create massive success. So, and self-development is very important. Self-development, develop your mindset, develop your skill set constantly. Take action, go do it. That's when you get better and better and better. So, synergy, once functioning, then can empower the purpose that you're here. Okay. So today, I hope, these thoughts, these ideas have given you, I don't know, maybe a different kind of energy in what you need to do in your business wherever you are today. Because wherever you are today, it's meant to be where you are. Okay? So I would encourage all of you out there to get to work. Practice this develop within. And with what, if you can develop within, you can control your environment. That's actually how it works. Les Brown, he said, and we're going to have him on, right? This Saturday with Kim Hui. But Les Brown, he always talk about, quote, an old African proverb. If there's no enemy within, nobody can harm you. Because the biggest thing you have to overcome is yourself. All right. So I hope that all of you took some notes and, had a good time experiencing our webinar. And, how about this? Why don't we, let's get back with Voz and we can open to some Q&A. Yeah, we have a good 10 minutes, more than 10 minutes left.
All right, Samson, that was amazing. Wow. One of the things that really, that hit home for me was you talked about life skills. You talked about where you go to college, you don't really learn these life skills, right? They teach you other things. And one of the things that you mentioned was getting educated, and it's about unlearning and relearning. It's kind of like delete, Control Alt Delete on your computer, right? Wipe everything out, put new things in that can really create something that can bring more happiness and income, whatever it is that you're looking for. That's really a key point that you put out there. Mm-hmm. And let's see, there's a lot of people on here, Samson. So I'm going to read some questions. Okay, so this is David. David said, what do you think when results are not accomplished yet?
Okay, what do I think about it?
Yeah, I mean, so I let me see what David said. What I'm hearing, what David's saying is, if you're doing something and you're not accomplishing that, you're not seeing the results yet, then what happens? What do?
You got to keep working at it. You got to keep working on yourself. And the more you do, the more you learn. And you got to work within a group. If you only work by yourself, the speed of your self-development is a lot slower. Mm. Okay. I remember many years ago when I first got into the industry, working with Kim and Robert. Well, they were too busy with, other leaders, and the only way I can learn is when Kim was around, when she's not traveling, or same thing with Robert, so I can have time to observe them. I still remember after 2.5 years, I had Kim only do one time a one-on-one for me. 2.5 years when I first got into the industry, even though, I was so close with her. But that one time opened my eyes to, why people sign up. So you know what? It's a lot of working on yourself, and you got to do a lot of it, and you got to go talk to a lot of people. Talk and observe. You got to stop your mind from talking, and you got to listen. The more you listen, because you have to be aware of what you're saying and why you're saying it. And we know most of us, again, we just have that program in our head. It seems automatic. Maybe it's out of fear. Well, something happened to us that seemed to be always the wrong words coming out from our mouth. Or, when you talk to somebody, sometimes, afterward you think about, oh, I should have said this. I should have said that. How come I didn't do it? That awareness, that feedback you give yourself is very important. You think about it. And the feedback from other people who saw what you did is even better, because they give you a third party, very neutral feedback. Okay. So I highly encourage all of you, if you're not getting the result, talk to your sponsor and work with your sponsor more, your sponsor upline leader more, so you can get the feedback to change, and you can practice that change so you can get better. Self-development, you got to work on yourself. I mean, it took me 3 months to be Sapphire at the beginning, and I had to work, and I did a lot of questioning myself and reviewing of what I did and did not do. So I got great feedback from Kim, of course, too. So it helps.
So I think what you're talking about is really about that mentorship, right? Finding that coach to guide you, and not only that, but to have someone that you're accountable to, right? I think that's really what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. You gotta get that feedback. quality feedback. And we got to have the awareness to ask for help, or you got to let that ego go and ask for help. And then you got to have the awareness to change. You know, if you can imagine yourself outside of yourself, watching what you're doing, you know, observing, and then you realize, oh, you know what? Why did I say that? Where did that come from? You start thinking about that, you know.
Well, here's another good question. This is from Johnny. Johnny says, is automated marketing a good strategy to learn for this business?
Well, you know, in our business, in our industry, I've never met anybody who used that to become diamond. Let me just put it that way. Because at the end of the day, if you think about how business works, okay, there's different ways, but you know, in marketing, there's a push and a pull. You can push it on people, or you can attract them to you. You know, I mean, nowadays, I guess that maybe the last 20 or 30 years, the idea of the law of attraction, right, comes to mind, right? That's a very well-known term. It's about attraction rather than pushing. Yeah. So you know, look, the automated, it does the push, and that's all it does. It does the push. It doesn't attract. What attract is the energy of you. You know, it's very interesting. I have a friend in Sedona, Arizona, Mali, and she was selling these crystal bowls, right? You know, you rub them and they have a beautiful sound, but they're like expensive, the one she got. And when she was talking to the manufacturer, because the manufacturer, well, she was the top retailer in Arizona a couple of years ago, right? And the year before that. And it came, and the manufacturer, you know, they met a lot of different distributors. And how come she do so well? Because she, instead of selling the bowls, she was selling her energy. I said, wow, that's an interesting statement. You know, it's not about what you have to offer physically, it's how you make people feel. And that's the same thing, you know, there's a saying, when people do the talking, you know, people worry about what they're going to say, all the information, all that. But, you know, most people don't remember what you say. They rather remember how you make them feel. So can automated marketing do that? I haven't seen any proven yet. I mean, I'm open to it, but it has to make me feel it. It has to get me excited, because to grow the business you're talking about, you got to build a team of excited people to leverage, so you can and create a synergy together, the excitement, the passion together, create the success together, inspire each other. That's how this business can grow. And that's the thing. We can talk about all the skill set. Remember, it's about the mindset. So
sure.
Okay.
Another good question is, so to add to that, what Johnny asked, it's really about not spending money on advertising and marketing, but really to talking to people and just word of mouth advertising.
Well, you got to hone your skills. The moment that turned my business around was the moment I realized that it wasn't that, oh, I tried to get somebody to join my business. It's what happens after they join the business that's important, is it? So yeah, because, you know, coming from traditional business, you know, as a retailer, or real estate also, I can sell a house or I can sell a piece of furniture, and the deal ends at that moment. But in our business, marketing, how to spread it is through contact and through the people that we know. Nowadays is a sharing economy. We share with people the things that we love, the things that gets us excited. Nobody wants to hear somebody sharing if they're not excited. Okay. All right. You don't want to hear from a dud. No. So it's a touchy-feely thing. I mean, we can say, you know, business is, you know, a lot of people compare the old timers, you know, people have been in it 20, 30, 40 years. They're like, yeah, this is a belly-to-belly business. But you know, of course, it can transition for more digital format, but it's still, at least like what we're doing, it's a face-to-face business. It's about feel. Because at the end of the day, business is done based on trust, right? Like Warren Buffett, one thing that he said comes to mind, and it applies to our business, is doesn't care if, you know, he can invest in anybody that can help him make money. But if they don't have integrity in what they do in that business, he'll just pass them. He won't invest in them. So the idea of trust and doing business with integrity is the bottom line. You know, why people, you know, listen to what you say unless they trust you, or unless you earn their trust. So, I mean, those are very foundational things of how business operates.
No. Well, here's a really nice question. This is from Flower of Life. What an amazing name that is, Samson. How can we get people away from negativity and fear? Now, we talked about fear, right? About the difference between love and fear. Can
Yeah.
you expand a little bit on how do we get people away from negativity, their thoughts, and what's fearful?
Now, if you talk about in life,
Yeah.
okay, just look at where you spend your time. Are you spending time in things that create fear in you? Okay. Look, we have all the time in the world now. It's a great time to take a pause and reevaluate our priorities, where we want to go and what we want to do. Especially now. I mean, you know, there's a huge shift in a lot of ways. Okay. I would have to say that you know, if it's for the business, you got the time you spent with your team, with your uplines, with your sponsors, with your leaders, with events, positive events. I mean, you know what? As a matter of fact, I guarantee you there are people on this webinar for the first time it's not even in the business. Somebody maybe just invite them to show them, hey, you know what? This group of people, this crazy group of people, they're actually a little bit different. You know why we're different, boss? Because we're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So it depends on where you spend the time. You spend the time with all the negative people. You got to go through some of them, maybe to grow the business, right?
Sure.
But don't let them, you know, but sometimes, to be very honest, when I meet people that are so negative, I'm saying, please do not join me.
Yeah.
I don't want to hung in that negativity, you know? I don't want, because if I take it on, I start living their lives.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not what I want to do. You know, I believe everybody, they want to create their own lives in the way that they want. Okay, so look where you spend your time.
Yeah. So we have time for one more question, Samson. It's a really good question also. So this is about, what can you say to people who are afraid of spending money at these times on packages due to the crisis and uncertainty?
Okay, so it goes back to risk, right? It goes back to the risk. Okay, so my advice is this. Why don't you sit down and evaluate the risks? Okay, because I cannot make a decision for anybody. They have to make their own. Okay, now for me personally though, taking risks is very interesting, because once you understand the risk, you lower your risk, right? Let's say if money is very tight, well, for sure you need food to eat, right? Right? Now, then the question is, if you spend the money on the package, you start the business, well, what is your goal? What is your intention though? If you don't spend, let's say people want to make money, right? And they want to be a distributor. They want to buy some products to get started, to use, and to get started to show other people, right? To start their marketing, to understanding, right? Well, if they do spend the money, get in the business, they have an opportunity, an upside, a potential. And what if they don't spend the money? What do they have? Nothing.
Well, they have nothing. Yeah.
Nothing changes. It could be black and white as that. So for me, look, when people start the business with me, I say, hey, you know what? Let's set some goal. The first goal is, my recommendation is make your money back. Number one. Let's put some work behind it. And depending on how much they spend, let's make a plan. How many people you need to talk to find the people, and then how you need to, what kind of skills you need, what you need to know, you know, to accomplish, to get your money back. Second goal. After that, the money that you make is profit. You're not getting paid for your time, okay? You are getting paid for production from sales, but in a conceptual and systematic basis, you are building your business. You are sorting through customers and partners to find the people that are really hot, you know, that are passionate about growing a business. So, you know, going back to your question is, well, if you don't get in the game, how can you win? That's it. Nothing will change.
Yeah. No, so true. So true about it. Now, I don't know the time. We are 2 minutes over time. Do you have time for another question? We have so many questions.
Okay. Well, let's do a couple more.
Okay. This is from Rashmi. Rashmi is asking a question. How to trust if everything is new? Everything is new, right? Let's see here. Let me reword this. How to trust is everything is new? Is it not risky? So if it's new for them, would it be a risk for them? I think that may be the question that Rashmi is asking.
Very good. Well, of course, like I said, the more you know, the lower the risk. right? Now, but to get in the game, okay, Michael Jordan did not become a superstar. They were the best basketball players in the world the very first day, right? It takes work. It took them years. I mean, I did a talk with Michael Jordan as example many years ago. Can you imagine how many free throws he practices every day? Can you imagine how many jump shots he does every day? What makes, look, for example, everybody that gets in the NBA, you know, they are the best of the best where they came from. But how do they become the best of the best in the world? Oh, that's another level. I guarantee you those guys, they all have the physical attributes, the talent, the gift. But how to get better is the mindset and the skill set. And they practice more than anybody, and they learn the game better than anybody, because you know what? Success is an inside job. So at the beginning, when you first get in, you know what? Even though it's new, work and follow people who have done it. So you can learn from their experience. I would like to learn and know the experience over knowledge any day. Okay? And experience, because experience translates to wisdom. Through work in it, either you get the result or you don't get the result, okay? Over and over again in the pipeline, okay? You learn from that. And if you have a good sponsor or leader, they give you some feedback, you're working together, you get better and better, and every day you lower the risk. Every day you learn something new. Every day you start to break through your limiting beliefs. So that's how success is created. You know, there's a saying, success is paid in full and upfront. Okay?
That's perfect.
I think you know that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Being an entrepreneur, we put a lot of work into things, right?
Yeah.
So here's a really a simple yet question that is in many minds. How big is the question of why, to discover that person's why when they start the business?
Okay, so you know, it's different for everybody. It's not only about discovering the why, but it's the ability to articulate it, to have a clear vision, a clear why. Okay, so when somebody first started, just talk to them and find out what they need, what they're looking for, what they want to accomplish. Sit down, you know, if you're the sponsor, sit down with them and have a conversation. Write it down, set some goals. You know, look, if you already have some success, well, share with them your experience, and then get your, you know, upline, you know, business partner leader involved so they can share their experience to make that plan, to make the expectation realistic. Okay.
Yeah.
And so just find out what their why is, set the goals, and go for it. And the why, though, I would say this is what I recommend. If you talk about a why, okay, it has to be an emotional experience in exploring the why. You know, in business, it has to be heart to heart, in our, especially our business. Unless the other person opens up to you, how do you know their real why? Okay.
Sure.
So you know, like for me, what I like to do is go into a conversation with no judgments. Just ask who, what, when, where, why, and how. in the conversation about a new business partner's why, and let them spill their guts out to you, and embrace them. You know, hold the space for them, so then this way you can help them articulate why they're in the business. And every day they should use that as their motivation, because that's where the motivation comes from, their why. The stronger the why, the more painful it is, the more necessary it is, the stronger their motivation to get it done, to move the business forward. Okay?
So San asked that question. San, I hope that was impactful enough for you to understand how important the why is. Now here's another question. This is, everyone asks this question. So they got on this webinar, they liked what they saw, they heard the right things. If they're keen on the webinar or the presentation, what is the next step? The person that invited that person, what is their next step? So if I invited someone, what question do I ask them? They're keen on the website. How do you ask for the business?
Well, I always leave it open because everybody's different. So let's say I invited somebody to see a presentation, right?
Mhm.
So I would follow up immediately, or already before the presentation, I set a time to follow up. Okay, and then so then I would talk to them, and a question I would ask it, I would keep it very open ended. I said, of course, you know, did they watch it or not? Second question is, well, what did you like most about it?
Mm.
Keep it positive, keep it open, and but here's the trick, okay? Because here's the trick for you. It's not for them, okay? The trick for you is that if you really want to find out what's making them tick, find out their why, find out their needs, okay? And see if Jeunesse platform, you know, matches their needs. What you got to do is ask the question and be quiet and wait for the answer. Let them talk. You got to let your monkey mind stop. Your nervousness stop, okay? And you just got to be all ears and wait for their answers and really listen to what they say. And even more important, look for the intentions behind what they say. Then you can start to figure out their why. And if, you know, our platform, if it can serve them, let's do it together, you know? And then, you know, and of course, feel, felt, found, you are not negotiating with them. You want to be on the same side as them. You know, if we're sitting together, we want to sit next to them. You see, we don't need to convince anybody. Okay, if it matches their need, they'll come on. All right.
Yeah.
Hope that helps.
Well, thanks, Samson. So Alice noticed that there's a piano in the background. Just a side comment. You know, Samson is an amazing piano player and a singer. I have experienced him singing and playing piano. So that was just a side note. Someone had mentioned. Let's see here. What about? Let's see. Here's another question. Let's see. We've talked about that. So yeah, I mean, those are most of the questions those are important questions. I think you answered a lot of the questions that people had the same questions over and over again. So thank you, Samson. Really, I appreciate what you brought for us, and this is really about having the key to the mechanics of becoming successful, not just in life, but in this platform itself. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, boss. And I want to plug something.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course. This is your.
All right. Okay. So next Thursday, folks, we have a very special guest. Okay. Next Thursdays, I mean U.S. time, right? Or we're Friday if you're in Asia. Same time, same place. We're gonna have Dr. Nathan Newman on. All right.
Wow.
All right. Now I've known him, you know. Look, since I've been in Jeunesse, since the very beginning, since September 9, 2009, he did our first meeting. So we're gonna have a friendly conversation with him. This will be an interesting interview. He's gonna do a corporate one on Facebook, okay, the same day, but we're gonna talk afterwards, and we're gonna talk about stuff that he never talks about, okay? Wow. So it'll be a good time. And then don't forget, everybody, this Saturday, U.S. time, Sunday morning in Asia. Okay, Saturday. Look for Kim, Hui, and Mr. Les Brown. They're gonna do an incredible webcast. So we made it possible on Zoom, but also possible on Facebook Live, on Kim Hui Live Facebook page. So I just want to, share it out there. So get excited about it, because you're gonna hear from the who's who, one of the top 5 speakers in the world, according to Toastmaster Mr. Les Brown, and of course our legendary Kim Hui, a lady who helped work a company from 0 to $1 billion company. Incredible. So it's gonna be an incredible event. It's gonna be a Zoom and also Facebook Live. So I would say that, we're gonna be all working, monitoring the chat and being a part of it. It's gonna be very excited. So looking forward to all of you out there.
Thank you, Samson. Thanks again. And I look forward to both those events that are taking place. So, wow. I know that you make sure you're on early, because the room will get full and you may not be able to get in.
Oh, that's right. Log in 5 minutes early if you're in Zoom. Facebook Live is going to be, it's going to be more giving. Okay, we'll have a lot more people on Facebook Live, but for the Zoom, if you're going to do that, yeah, you got to get in there early. Okay.
Thanks again, Samson. Have a good night.
Thank you, Voss, for hosting. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody.
If you see something for yourself, get back to the person who shared this video with you. And don't forget to subscribe to the official USGS YouTube channel to receive future videos.